Hey guys, and welcome to another vlog episode here. Training, I've got my squat day today and very leg dominant day. I was really lucky to be joined by one of my clients, Steven here, which is really good. So there's some footage of his training as well. So I guess with him, we're just sort of at a phase at the moment where he is definitely, dropping some decent body fat. He started the year really strong. His technique as well has improved so much over the last year. Like squats, he's much more controlled. They're definitely not as wobbly and as ugly as they used to be, which he'll attest to. Even his deadlifts, bench, everything. He's been hitting some great PRs in the gym, which is awesome. And he was joining me today. And his program is pretty similar. I've got him sort of following fairly similar to what I do. My set here from my coach is I got to hit a top pause safety bar squat, top single. So I'm just working up here, and people might be asking about the platform there, where I've got one platform raised. Again, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last videos, but I do have about a 12 to 13 centimeter leg difference on that right side. And so because I don't have any wedges in my shoes, this kind of compensates and makes things a hell of a lot better. So even with Steven's squats here, they're so much better. Like his depth is much better. Controlled, he's moving quite well here, building it up. I think he had sets of 80 here. So he had 5 sets of 5 at about 80 kilos on the bar, which was really good for him. I hit a 135 single, and I've seen the footage already, and I wasn't overly impressed by it, which was really disappointing, because looking back on last week's 125 was a lot better. I think there was 120 there, roughly. I think that's about a 120, which was much better. You'll see with it, I'm not happy about the pause. I don't know if I actually... Looking at the footage, I don't know if I came to a complete pause or whether I sort of like half pause and then dipped a little bit. There was a lot of moving, which I wasn't super happy about. You'll see in the video, if you look closely at the feet, I shift really forward onto my toes as well. So when I was doing it, it felt fine. But these are all good things to be able to watch back, pick up on. And again, probably this last month or two, I've been really trying to change my technique on my squat. Coach has got me doing things different to what I'm used to. And so, that can take months to really sort of come to fruition, and whether it's a positive or a negative. So I think this is the set here. See, I sort of pause. There's sort of like a pause, and then there was another sort of dip or sort of dip backwards, and then sort of the bar went forwards a little bit. It was a bit ugly. So I wasn't overly impressed. The weight here for Steven, this was a good weight for him, 80 kilos. All of his sets were really good. Look, from the camera angle, from behind, definitely looks like the hip's a lot higher than what it is. But I'm not trying for him at the moment to get him really below parallel or arse to grass or anything like that. So that I'm quite happy with for him. What do we got here? Actually, I think this is, oh no, these are the sets. So now I've got 3 sets of 4. And I've got 105 kilos on there. 3 sets of 4, pause. Again, I think, like I sort of come to a pause. I think the pause can be longer looking back on this. During the time when you're doing it, you're not really sort of aware of it, and sort of as you're getting fatigued, it's really hot. You can see on my shirt, it's starting to, the color of the shirt by the end of it was dark gray, and you're not aware of it, which is why it's really good to have a coach, or it's really good to be able to film your stuff and be able to look back on this and actually realize, like, hey, there's some room to improve, and there's always room to improve. So that's why I film all of my workouts, and I've always filmed them. I've just never like vlogged them in this way, but I've always filmed stuff so that I can see what actually is happening. How am I moving? So this is another set now. These are still sets of 4. See, I think I forget to pause in some of the times, like, or it's very minimal. Yeah, very minimal. There's probably a pause there, but it's not a long pause. Look, the goal is to kind of come to a bit of a stop so that I'm not using any momentum or effort coming out. So we can improve on that. These are the sets of GHDs now that we've got. So we had 4 sets of 8 or 4 sets of 10. So Stephen did really well here. He was able to obviously not use any momentum. He did on the first one and then kind of realized that maybe he didn't need to, which is good. He'll be focusing on being able to, as you can see there, he doesn't get his legs very sort of parallel with the floor. So he doesn't get a lot of like extension from the knee there, but that's something that he's going to be working on, is trying to get those legs straighter and straighter over time, which makes it a lot harder. So he's still a little bit bent knee when he's doing them, but again, not using momentum to push himself off the floor, which is a massive improvement. There should be a set of 6. I think now this might be a set of 6. So I have 3 sets of 4 and I have 2 sets of 6, and I knock another 10 kilos off. So I was doing 95 here. And I'm really getting fatigued here. I'm really struggling. I mean, I'm still happy with them. They're not bad. Like, I've seen a lot worse, but have a look at this last one. Yeah, see, big pause on that last one. I think that was my last set. I knew it was over and done with. So I just need to, you can see the sweat all over the shirts there. So this was on Friday. It was really, really hot, really hard. My sets of GHDs, I was able to hit set 1 and 2. I was able to 8, again, without no push off the floor anymore. So that's a massive improvement for me. You know, even last year, I was really sort of have to push up off the floor. Got 2 sets of 8 now without any push. And then the last 2 sets, I got, I think, 4 for like the first 4 reps without any sort of assistance per se. And then towards the end, I was really sort of having to put my hands on the pad, or I think sometimes I had to push up off the floor. My hammies and calves were just really screaming at me, which was great. That's what they're meant to do. So you can just see the difference between mine and Steven's here, how I'm able to, my knees come up off the pad. You know, they don't stay as bent as obviously Steven. So that's something that he's going to be working on, then improving over the next sort of month or 2. So I'm really actually enjoying these, you know, if you've never done glute hams, these are brutal. What have we got next? RDLs. I think I've got a video of RDLs. Yeah, so RDLs. So couple of cue points here for Steven that I was able to pick up on for him. You know, really grip the floor with your big toe. I think this is the set where you see him at the end where he's talking about his hammies. So those playing along at home doing RDLs, make sure you're really pulling back on the big toe when you're doing RDLs, and you'll feel it in your hamstrings. So that was his first set. So you watch his second set here, because he was really on his heels. He wasn't gripping hard through his toes. He wasn't pushing his hip back as far and controlling it as much. He was sort of just hinging over and dipping over. And, you know, it works, but you'll watch his reaction at the end of this. We sort of said, hey, let's push the hip back a little bit more. Don't focus so much on just trying to, you know, get close to the floor. Yep, you can see there, he's like, yeah, the grip with my toes. I can feel my hammies come straight on, I think he was saying. So massive improvement for RDLs there. You know, it's not about how close you can get to the floor with the bar. The RDLs is all about pushing the hip back, okay? Keeping the weight close to your center of gravity, right? Grip with the big toe, and you'll feel your hamstrings really light up. So Steven's doing the skull crushers, 3 or 4 sets of 15, can't remember. I'm really happy with my RDLs. They are really improving. My shirt is soaked by now, as you can see. So again, gripping the floor, controlling, driving the hip back, and pulling up with the hip. So it's all a hip movement, right? So I'm using my hips. My glutes are pressing hard at the top. I think it's 125, 135 on there. I can't really remember. I think they're 20s on the edge, which makes that 105, 115, 125, I think, something like that, which I'm pretty happy with. I think the best I've ever done is about 140 for a very ugly triple. So I'm feeling really confident with this. These are 3 sets of 8, you know, so they're pretty brutal. This is set 2, because I don't think I filmed the last one. But it might have been the last set. I'm still happy with them. I'm starting to get really fatigued here. We rushed the last 15 minutes, had a staff meeting. I was like, I need to get these done. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this training session. It was really good. Awesome having Steven joining me. So there you guys have it. Enjoy.